Mental pictures. An article from William Walker Atkinson. It is important to form the ideal concept of that which we wish to accomplish, to do, or to obtain. There is an important part played by the ideative faculties of the mind in the direction of manifesting our desires into objective form and reality. But there is another set of faculties which must also be called into play in the work of inducing the soul energies to express themselves. The faculties which we generally speak of as the imagination play a very important part in the work of transmuting thought into action. It is not sufficient that we form and hold a clear idea of the ideals we wish to make real. We must also train the imagination to form the mental picture of that which we wish to accomplish. The imagination is far from being the fanciful, unreal, visionary faculty that so many persons believe it to be. It is really one of the most efficient set of faculties in the human mind. So far from contenting itself with the forming of daydreams and fanciful pictures of what never can be, it, when properly used, is the mold or matrix into which the material of action and accomplishment is poured, the pattern upon which the garment of achievement is cut. Upon the character of the mental pictures carried by us in our imagination depends to a large extent the character of our actual manifestations of power. We must learn to discard the old ideas about the imagination and supplant them by the newer and more scientific conceptions of the importance of those faculties of the mind. Sir Benjamin Brodie once said, "Physical investigation, more than anything else, helps to teach us the actual value and right use of the imagination, of that wondrous faculty, which when left to ramble uncontrolled, leads us astray in a wilderness of perplexities and errors, a land of mists and shadows, but which, properly controlled by experience and reflection, becomes the noblest attribute of man, the source of poetic genius, the instrument of discovery in science, without the aid of which Newton would never have invented flux ions, nor Davy have decomposed the earths and alkalis, nor would Columbus have found another continent." Tyndall, the eminent English scientist, makes a like statement. "We are gifted with the power of imagination," says he, "and by this power we can lighten the darkness which surrounds the world of the senses." There are Tories, even in science, who regard imagination as a faculty to be feared and avoided rather than employed. They have observed its action in weak vessels, and are unduly impressed by its disasters. But they might with equal truth point to exploded boilers as an argument against the use of steam. Bounded and conditioned by cooperant reason, imagination becomes the mightiest instrument of the physical discoverer. Newton's passage from a falling apple to a falling moon was at the outset a leap of the imagination. The most advanced psychologists have recognized the importance of the use of the imaginative faculties in the direction of what is known as visualization, even in the affairs of ordinary everyday life. For instance, Sir Francis Galton tells us, "The free action of a vivid visualizing faculty is of much importance in connection with the higher processes of generalized thought. Visual image is the most perfect form of mental representation wherever the shape, position, and relations of objects to space are concerned. The best workmen are those who visualize the whole of what they propose to do before they take a tool in their hand. Strategists, artists of all denominations, physicists who contrive new experiments, and in short, all who do not follow routine, have need of it, a faculty that is of importance in all technical and artistic occupations, that gives accuracy to our perceptions and justice to our generalizations, is starved by lazy disuse, instead of being cultivated judiciously in such a way as will, on the whole, bring the best returns. I believe that a serious study of the best means of developing and utilizing this faculty is one of the many pressing desiderata in the yet unformed science of education. What the above-mentioned eminent authorities have said regarding the importance of visualization in the ordinary sense of the term is even still more true of the use of the faculty in the work of the expression of the soul and the attracting of conditions, as taught in the newer school of mental science. If there is one particular truth held to firmly by the advanced mental scientist, it is that one which teaches the importance of forming and holding correct mental pictures. This is what the older mental scientists meant by the term holding the thought. They really meant holding the mental picture of the thing which we seek to be, do, or secure. It is this mental picture through which the law of attraction operates and around which the attracted things shape and form themselves. It is this mental picture which the subconscious mentality uses as a model in its wonderful work of reconstruction and creative activity. In short, the mental picture is the ideal model which we set up as a pattern of that which we wish to materialize in real and actual existence. And this is true whether we wish to remodel our own character or personality, whether we wish to accomplish some great task, or whether we wish to attract to ourselves a new environment, surroundings, circumstances, persons, and things. The principle is the same in each of these cases and always operates in the same way. So true is the relation between the mental picture and the material condition that we can nearly always get a very good idea of one's circumstances and environment by knowing the nature of his mental pictures. Likewise, we may make a very good guess at one's mental pictures by knowing his environment, etc. The man who keeps his mind filled with the gloomy pictures of failure, dishonesty, bad luck, and other breeds of the glooms, is pretty sure to find himself surrounded by an environment in exact accord with the pictures he has painted in his mind. On the other hand, the men who attain and accomplish great things will nearly always be found to be persons whose mental pictures are of the bright, inspiring kind. This is no mere coincidence. It is the working of a great psychological and metaphysical law. Like attracts like in the world of thought, and thoughts have a peculiar way of transmuting themselves into material things. We attract to ourselves the things in accordance with our mental pictures. Take the whole body of the teaching of mental science, and you will find that it is grouped around this idea of correct mental picturing. What is the law of attraction use as its model? If not the pictures carried in the mind, one, what constitutes the differences in the mental atmospheres of persons? If not the character of the mental pictures, one, what is the distinguishing difference between the person who knows just what he wants and the one who does not, if it is not a matter of the degree of the clearness of the pictures in the minds of the persons? I tell you that the whole teaching of mental science is grouped around this one central point of mental pictures. Our mental pictures arouse our desires. Our desires cause our will to spring into action, and our will operates in many ways, some of which are well understood, and others are not so well understood by the average person. Our mental pictures are the patterns upon which we are cutting the garments of our life, the mold into which we are pouring the raw material of the universal energy. Is it not clear that we should entertain only such pictures as will best serve our purposes, and which, when materialized, will give us the greater happiness and satisfaction? And yet, how few are doing this? The majority of us are entertaining the gloomy pictures of the things we fear, rather than the bright pictures of the things we hope and long for. Better begin today and change your mental art gallery. Hang bright pictures in your mind. Throw the old gloomy ones out of the window. The modern mental scientists would do well to borrow a leaf from the book of experience of the ancient students of what was then called mental alchemy. These old occultists laid great stress upon the formation of clear, strong mental pictures by means of the imagination, as an aid in bringing about the material conditions they wanted. They would anticipate the happening of the hoped-for future event by creating as strong and clear a mental picture as possible of the event. If they wished to create a better environment for themselves, they would begin by picturing that environment in their mind, and by frequent repetition strengthening the mental pattern so obtained. By pouring into that pattern the spirit of strong desire and earnest expectation, they would gradually clothe the mental framework with material reality. In the same way, they would picture themselves as accomplishing the achievements upon which their aspiration was set, and would thus set into operation the mental machinery which would in time bring about the desired result. The short rule in the matter is, picture in your mind the exact conditions which you wish to become real. See the thing as you wish it to be. Strengthen the picture by frequently bringing it up before the mind's eye, and vitalize it by flooding it with a constant stream of strong desire force. At the same time, steadily refuse to entertain the mental pictures of conditions which you do not wish to occur. Avoid dwelling upon the things you fear, lest the thing that I feared hath come upon me. It will pay you to cultivate this art of effective mental picture making. You will find that not only will it work in the direction of actual demonstration according to mental science laws, but that it will also give a clearness to your mind in the direction of showing you just what you really want and the best way to accomplish it. It will help you to form a clearer idea of that which you wish to accomplish and to make a stronger and clearer ideal. There are but few of us who are able to create a strong abstract ideal. We need to see it in actual form. We may dream about wanting this thing or that thing, but the spring of action is not released until we actually see someone else doing the thing, or having the thing we want. We are all more or less from Missouri. We need to be shown. And the best way to show our subconscious self just what we want is to provide it with clear and strong mental pictures. Just imagine that the subconscious mind has no means of knowing what you want, except by means of the mental pictures you show it. Proceed upon this hypothesis, and you will see that in order to get the subconscious mind enlisted in your behalf, you must picture to it very plainly just what you wish it to accomplish. Imagine also that the subconscious mentality is like a good fairy who is willing and able to aid and help you, but who needs merely to be shown what is required of it. If you will proceed upon these two suggestions, you will find yourself well on the way toward accomplishment by means of mental science. It is not necessary to go into theory at this place. These are how to do it articles, having little or no theory in them. But one word more in conclusion. Do not make the fatal mistake of becoming a mere daydreamer. Remember, your mental pictures are not to be mere idle daydreams, but are really the creation of mental patterns which you intend shall be materialized in reality. The mere dreamer accomplishes nothing. Neither does the man who has no imagination or mental creative power. A nice combination of imagination and will is required to gain the prizes of life. Make clear mental pictures, and then follow them up with work, action, courage, hopefulness, and faith. Hold the thought and hustle is the keynote. Holding the thought without hustling is not apt to materialize much. Neither is hustling without holding the thought. Do you see? To those who may smile at the ideas set forth herein, I would say, throw aside your prejudices. Look around you a little. Go over the list of the persons you know who have really achieved anything worthwhile in any walk of life. Look into their characters as known to you. You can judge only by the outside, of course, for you cannot look into their minds, but the outside look will suffice for the purpose. Now, honestly, can you say to yourself that there is a single one of the successful persons whom you do not believe is possessed of the creative imagination? That is, the imagination which is constantly looking a little ahead of the immediate hour, and which is mentally picturing that which the person hopes to materialize in reality shortly after. Is it not true that the world's successful people have this great faculty of creative imagination well developed? On the other hand, look at the mass of people sticking in the ruts of life. They are so devoid of the creative imagination that they are apt to sneer and revile those who do possess it. I tell you, friends, the people who do things are the persons who first see things. The mental pattern must precede the material accomplishment. This is not only a law of practical psychology, but is also an axiom of occult metaphysics, and from the same reason. The practical businessman of today pursues the same plan as that taught and practiced by the mental alchemist of old, and with similar results. First the pattern, then the product. First the mental mold, then the material objectification. Think over this a little, and then make use of it. End of article.